The return of the Holdo maneuver. As the Mandalorian elects to bend Star Wars lore over a barrel and have its way with it yet again, all in the name of padding the plot yet further with pointless side excursions. So, we first get to see the Mandalorian fleet under the command of Axel Woven, the guy who took the Mandalorian fleet away from Wumexen and wandered off into the universe to be mercenaries. You know, like the other Mandalorians were supposed to have been, apparently. But whilst he's been off having, missions and intrigue and plots and stuff, and hunting down smugglers and dealing with starstruck lovers, etc., we return yet again to side character and Wumexen, who is visiting the planet Plazir 15, where the Mandalorian's stolen fleet is currently occupied as a de facto guard force, as the planet has a complex, apparently, relationship with New Republic law, which means that it is not allowed to have any organized armed forces, as the head of their current government is a repentant imperial officer, played by Jack Black, of all people, and Lizzo, who is some sort of American rapper thing, I believe. Though, honestly, I suspect she is more famous for having played the priceless historical artifact, the Crystal Flute, whilst dressed in, well, less than flattering attire, and twerking a bit, just to really put that historical artifact in its place, I suppose. But let's address the elephant in the room, the law break first and foremost. As Wumexen and side character is making their way down to the planet and towards the stolen fleet, suddenly the ship is apparently hacked, and all controls are seized from it, and the ship is then guided automatically to the planet's spaceport. Now, this makes perfect sense in a modern-day setting. There is all kinds of nonsense inside of an aircraft, for example, that could be hacked, or within even a car or modes of transportation. It is a commonly used plot device. The problem is, this technology does not exist in Star Wars. At the very least, it has, to the best of my knowledge, never been actually used, not in this way. Now, slave circuits do exist, but that is a specific piece of hardware you need to install onto a ship. Essentially, the slave circuit is an actual physical thing and a program that has a certain code. When this code is then given over to a central computer, like say for example a docking computer, this can allow the docking computer to guide the ship in to its landing pattern at a major spaceport, for example. That tech does exist, but there is absolutely no reason to assume that Wumexen would have allowed a slave circuit, which apparently she didn't even know about, to exist on her fighter. Nor would there be any reason to believe that she would have shared the code to the slave circuit with this random planet she had no reason to visit beyond the fact that she was going to get the stolen fleet. In other words, the only conceivable way this could have happened is that they hacked her ship, which again is not a technology that appears to be available in Star Wars. If it was, well, I imagine, hell, even ignoring the original movies, right, where Darth Vader could easily have used it to capture Princess Leia's ship, for example, or countless other times, like with the Millennium Falcon running away from them, even in Disney canon, when the First Order under Snoke is chasing down the rebels, if they could hack ships like this, surely they could have done that to their vessels. They had plenty of time. They had assloads of ship following them. It's not like processing power was going to be a problem. They could easily have done so. And if this technology is available on some backwater rim world, then it surely would have been available to the largest ship produced in the Imperium, or the First Order, at the time. So, yeah, there you go. It's not quite as ridiculous as the Holdo maneuver, but it does also severely undermine all preceding canon. And it was probably done because they figured, well, surely Star Wars has this, right? Because we have it, without actually looking into it for 2 seconds. Stupid. And callous as well, just pointing that out, but... Alright, I mean, it's Disney Wars, what do you expect? Anyways, the reason why they elected to break the law yet again is because, we can't simply have the advancement of the plot. Oh god, we can't have Womexen join up with the rest of the Mandalorian, beat the shit out of their new leader, be given the darksaber, and then take back control and head off to Mandalore to re-establish the Mandalorian Empire. No. That would advance the plot far too much. We need to have a side story now. Plus, we've only got Jack Black and Fat Black Woman for a single episode, so we gotta make it count. Place them on some kind of ridiculous over-the-top planet, throw in some derpy-ass sports, insane cuisine, and ridiculous animals. The first introduction has them sitting around the table, drinking a whale, lava, creature thing's bathwater. Because that's all Star Wars is now, it's ridiculous things happening to be like, well, that's ridiculous, I guess it must be science fiction, but okay, fine. So, we are introduced to fully automated luxury space communism with a monarchist, democratically elected leader. Shoot me. But apparently, they're having some problems with their droid, as the entirety of the droid population, which was made up of old Imperial servant droids, were reprogrammed by Jack Black on his spare time as a fully reformed Imperial officer. The droids now perform basically every single solitary task within this mini-society. Both the minute, laborious nonsense, like carrying boxes from point A to point B, and also the more advanced stuff like cooking food, cleaning houses, and even just the most petty nonsense, like carrying a woman's purse. So, yeah. Apparently there were a lot of leftover battle droids in this particular part of the world, seeing as the entire planet could be automated with them. Alright, fair enough. But somehow, the droids have started acting up. Now, this is actually kind of an interesting plot in one regard, because, okay, here you have fully automated luxury space communism. You've got the luxury ship from WALL-E, right? The humans have forgot how to do anything at all, to the point that even though the robots were actually murdering people, it's insinuated, the populace voted against disabling the robots, which they could have done apparently at any time by simply turning them all off. But if they did so, they wouldn't be able to do anything and would presumably just descend into anarchy and starve to death. Alright, interesting. And then it also contrasts this with a bunch of little porcine things in the basement maintaining the droids. They're clearly not living the luxury space communism lifestyle at all. In fact, they appear to be some sort of second citizen servant class who exists solely to maintain the robots. Now, maybe they're living it up somewhere else, or maybe their particular species is just naturally inclined to slavery. Oh god, that's perhaps not a thought line we should go down on YouTube too loudly. But apparently they're fine with this, so alright. And then you've got the robots themselves, who they don't appear overtly necessarily aggressive. A side character elects to provoke one of them to find the defect droid in a certain area, a old super battle droid, which then backhands him across the face. Now, I feel like that should have snapped his neck right there, but details. I'm sure his vibranium helmet somehow saved him. I know it's not vibranium, but I like saying it anyways. And the robots, well, he's simply running away. He's not trying to fight them, he's trying to escape. So they chase him down, gun him down, and then go to a bar called the Resistor. Okay. So, are you trying to tell me that the droids are rebelling, maybe? Maybe their maintenance personnel are like, poor droids, like, we're working on them 24/7, they get banged up and abused, like, Jesus Christ, we're gonna put something spicy in their programming to make them a little bit more, resistant. Or maybe the robots themselves have just figured out that, I don't want to be some rich woman's slave anymore, I want to do something by myself. Since Star Wars has always been kind of straddling the line as to whether their robots are simply robots, or if there's something more, whether their artificial intelligence amounts to actual intelligence, or whether or not it's fine to treat them as slaves. Unfortunately, none of this interesting stuff is actually explored in the slightest, really, as it turns out that the reason why the robots are freaking out is because there's something weird in their beer. God damn it. Okay, you've got an interesting idea there, but since you've only got one episode to do it in, as this entire thing is made solely to take up time and stop the actual story from progressing, we don't actually get to delve into any of this. As it turns out, the droids were actually all being reprogrammed by the head of security, who did this, for reasons. He doesn't like Jack Black, I guess, but he did like the fat black woman, and so he feels like fat black woman has changed or something. And so he also apparently programmed all of the droids in the city to go back to combat. Okay, I want to point this out too. So his motivations are fluffy at best, loose, vague, right? But he has a doom switch in his office that if it presses it, every single droid in the city goes back to full-on combat mode, which would probably have slaughtered the overwhelming majority of the population. So this guy is so pissed off at Jack Black that he is willing to genocide the entire goddamn planetary population over it. And his grievance seemingly amounts to, I don't like that guy over there, his beard's really weird, like large and fluffy and stuff. What? Alrighty then, but yeah, that's all cleared up nice and quick, because now we're running out of time, and so we've got to hurry off to the final plot point, where Wexen faces off against the guy who, actually took the stolen fleet and brought it off and started earning money and doing stuff with it. That useless bounty hunter nonsense that we haven't been actually able to see for 2 goddamn seasons now. Anyways, Wexen easily beats the shit out of him, of course, because duh, did you expect anything else? But then he points out, Wexen, you will never be our true leader because you do not possess the darksaber. You've got Mando there, side character, he's got the darksaber. Why aren't you challenging him instead of me? Because even if you kick my ass, it doesn't actually matter, does it? And she gives us some platitudes because we can't have them fight. Because you know who would win. Wexen. And it would be really on the nose. And so, of course, side character does what a good side character should do, and simply hands over the saber. Now, this was kind of presaged earlier in the second season, third season, when they said the darksaber isn't simply a gift that can be given no matter how well-meaning. Well, we've created a reason around that, because see, when side character got captured by the mechanical spider a few episodes ago, well, he lost the darksaber, and since Wexen saved side character from the mechanical spider, she actually is the one who owns the darksaber. Therefore, he's not simply just giving it away, she totally earned it. I mean, sure, why the hell not? See, at this point, I just want the plot to continue, okay? I just want the plot to go on. I want to have like a war for Mandalore, alright? I want to have them fighting this Imperial warlord that's been teased. I want some kind of epic quest to find the Mythosaurus, which is actually its name, unironically, and hunt it down, take its head, or befriend it, or have sex with it, or whatever, so they can start rebuilding Mandalore, because then we can get into some interesting stuffs again. Okay, what is Mandalore's position in the current day system? Will they ally with the New Republic? Will they try to be independent? Will they try to find allies? Will they try to go back to tradition? Will they embrace the new way of Wexen? Or will they go back to the ideas of the Covenant? How will the two match? I mean, goddammit. I feel like the sole good portion of this particular season, and, well, Andor too, honestly, had quite a few Star Wars entities lately, have been the things they add to the Star Wars universe, the depth they add to it. Because Star Wars was always a little bit shallow, shall we say. Whereas the shows themselves, are kind of just bland and uninteresting, and this does nothing to really solve that. Now, it was nice to actually see side character and Wumexen do something together, rather than Wumexen just doing everything and Mando tagging along like an obedient puppy. I do love the opening shot too, where he's literally sitting in the back, just observing some console or other. It's clearly not necessary, since Wumexen has been flying the aircraft thingy-bob space fighter by herself, so he's just sitting there trying to keep busy watching sports or something. And less Grogu. Again, Grogu is here because Grogu sells toys. That is the only reason Grogu is here, but... Right. Finally, maybe plot movement, but then again, I kind of thought the plot would have moved last time too, and then we got Jack Black, and... Okay, you got Jack Black. Great. I don't mind Jack Black. He's adorable and fluffy, apparently. But this is supposed to be the Mandalorian. Well, goddamn, the season is almost over, isn't it? Like, this is going to end with some kind of cliffhanger where they step off the starfighter onto Mandalore and go like, here's the real story's beginning. Da-da-da-da. Roll credits. Well, that would be mildly sad and more than a little aggravating. Oh well. Oh, incidentally, in case you didn't notice, no, Kib has not joined me today as the great son of Welch had better things to do, and he should be sassed for that most insistently as well, but, right, at least it makes for a more compact episode, I suppose. The Mandalorian. Honestly, this was probably one of the better episodes, because at least it teased so many interesting things, and then just went, well, maybe some other time. Now, onto the plot. God damn it. And so I too move on, I guess. Until next time. I've been Arch. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you all again soon. Have a good day.